Welcome back. Today I'll show you how to create a 3D candle holder in AutoCAD 2026. The holder's thickness is created using the shell command, and I added 8 angled slots, each at a 45-degree angle, evenly spaced around the cylinder or evenly wrapped around the cylinder. So stay tuned as we go step by step to model the candle holder from the base all the way to the star cutouts. To start a new drawing, click this drop-down arrow. By the AutoCAD icon, select New. And since I'm using inches, I'm going to use AutoCAD 3D template for imperial units and click Open. Just going to adjust my windows and work on parallel projection. Click this drop-down arrow and select Parallel. And I'm going to start with, so go to Home and start with using cylinder. So inside the ribbon, inside the modeling panel, select cylinder. So if it's not showing, just click this drop down arrow and select cylinder amongst the primitive solid here. So cylinder, click anywhere on the screen and enter 1.5 for radius. And the height is 6 inches. And roll down the wheel of your mouse upward to bring this closer. So this is the radius here. Okay, so go to Solid. And inside the Solid editing panel, select Shell command. Select the object you want to shell, right click, and undo a face because you want this face open. And you can see the color changes. Enter again. And for the thickness is 0.1. Enter and enter again, as shown here. Now, I'm going to bring my drawing to front view and go down to the status bar. I'm just going to turn off the grid and also make sure that your dynamic input is on, polar tracking, and object snap tracking, and object snap. All right. Now I'm going to draw the slot and the distance in between the center of two arcs is 3 inches with an angle of 45 degrees. So L4 line, I'm just gonna draw somewhere here, anywhere here. Go to the direction above the x-axis and enter 3. And then press the tab key quickly to enter the angle. So 45 degrees and enter. And enter again. And the thickness is 0.5 as shown here. So what I'm gonna use is offset command, O for offset, enter, and enter 0.5. Select the object and select below or above that object. Now I'm going to draw an arc. I'm just going to use circle. So C for circle, enter, shift right click, and mid between 2 points because we want the center of the circle between these two endpoints. So endpoint to endpoint, and just snap that endpoint. Same process, circle, shift right click, and select mid between 2 points. Oh, I made a mistake here. I clicked the wrong endpoint. Okay, C for circle, shift right click, and select mid between 2 points. So this endpoint and this endpoint, as you can see, the circle's center is exactly in the middle. And just snap any endpoint, that endpoint or this endpoint. All right, now I'm gonna trim. So TR for trim command, enter twice, and just clean up. Now I'm going to join the segments by typing J for join command, right click to enter, and just window the whole thing. Now this is one object. Now move. Well, just make sure you're, okay, go down to polar tracking, right click, and select tracking setting, and make sure your object snaps geometric center is on, because if not, I'm going to show you if it's not on. 3D object and center of face is off. Okay, so if I move this one, so move, see there's nowhere to snap. What you can do is create construction line, but we don't want to bother. And then what you can do is right click, select tracking setting, and go to object snap and select geometric center. And for a 3D object, select center of face and click OK. Alright, so if I move this one, if I hover over, you can see that white thingy. Just snap that and then move it to the 3D, and you can see that center there, that circle, blue circle. It means that that's the center of the 3D object. Just snap that. So if you hold down the shift key of your mouse and the wheel, with the wheel, this object is exactly located at the center of the object. All right. The next step is to extrude this one. So go to solid, or inside the solid panel, select extrude command over here and extrude this one sideways, that way or this way, won't matter. And then we're gonna apply, we need about 8 of this. So go to top view and type in array puller. Array puller, select the object you wanna array, right click, and AutoCAD is asking you to specify center point of array. So shift right click again and locate center of this object, hover over and just click. And then as you can see, the default number is 6 objects. So go back to the ribbon and go to the number of items and change it to 8. Enter, enter again. So cylinder. So when you use array command, these objects are considered one object, and you cannot use this object to subtract from another object. So what I'm gonna do is I use explode command, so X for explode, and explode these objects. And you can see here they are now individual objects. So use subtract command inside the Boolean panel, or you can go to home and use subtract command somewhere here, this one, inside the solid editing panel. So select the object you wanna keep, right click, and select the objects you wanna use to subtract or cut. There you go. And the next thing I'm gonna do is create a star. And as shown here, I'm gonna show you the model. So see these star cutouts, and there are 8 here, up here, and there are 8 at the bottom with a distance of 125 from the quadrant. So I'm just gonna bring this to front view and create a construction line. So what I'm gonna do is, it's easy to see. So go to layer and create, for a construction line, I'm just gonna use red. It helps a lot when the color is different. Okay, and bring it current, so layer red, or you can name that, but I don't bother. So L for line, and shift right click and snap the quadrant, go downward for 0.25. Same process at the bottom, line from quadrant, shift right click, snap the quadrant, go upward for 0.25. See, it's the line went somewhere else. So I'm just gonna make sure my ortho mode is on. Sometimes it goes somewhere that we don't like. All right, so line, enter, shift right click, select quadrant, snap the quadrant, go upward for 0.25. What's going on here? Okay, what I'm gonna do is change this to X-ray, so it's easier to visualize. I think we have it. See, it's slanted. I'm just gonna erase that. Okay, again, L for line, shift right click and select quadrant and go upward 0.25. Come on, it keeps on cancel. It keeps on snapping to different places. All right, this is learning experience. So 2D, I'm just going to change this to 2D. L, Shift right click, select quadrant, and go upward. Come on, don't snap. Just bring it all the way up, 0.25, and enter. Let me check. Yeah, there, it's straight. Okay, now I'm gonna bring this back to front view, and then draw a star away from this object. And I have here a star that I scaled three times, so it's easier to see the dimensions. All right, so I'm just gonna do a construction line. Okay, for going up 4.5, which is this one. Going sideways for 0.5, so line 0.5. Just gonna move this one from midpoint to midpoint. Oh, I think it's not midpoint. Move. Come on, what's going on? Okay, move. Move midpoint to midpoint. There. And then the diagonal line is 45 degrees from, I'm just gonna start from the center, and the distance between these two endpoints is 0.2. So I'm gonna start with a line and go down to the status bar and change your ortho mode to polar tracking, because ortho mode only goes sideways and upward or downward. So L for line, snap that center, and above the x-axis, enter 0.1, and tab key again and enter 45 degrees. There you go. And copy endpoint to endpoint. I'm just gonna mirror these two lines. So MI for mirror command, select these two lines and specify point of mirror line. I'm gonna go from endpoint to endpoint and select no, and then draw a line. So I'm just gonna change the layer to 0. Okay, L for line, endpoint to endpoint to endpoint, and erase the construction lines. So delete, and then join the segments. So J for join command, and just window the whole thing to make this into one object. All right, next thing I'm gonna do is attach. So move, snap the endpoint and move it to the endpoint of this construction line. All right, and extrude. So hold on the shift key again and the wheel of your mouse to get the desired view, which is easier for you. All right, so extrude command inside the modeling panel, select extrude and extrude it towards the center. It doesn't matter here or here as long as you don't go through the object. There you go, and then go to top view and array polar again. So type in array polar, select the object, right click and specify center point of array. So shift right click and select center, hover over, snap the center, and default value here is 6, so I'm just going to change this to 8. So go up to the ribbon and change that to 8, just like what we did with the slot. But you can also go right click and select items and enter 8. It's just an option. Enter and enter again. Okay, I'm just gonna change this to conceptual. All right. So again, this is associative because we use polar or polar array. So what I'm gonna do is just copy this one. Copy selection, and then snap that endpoint and attach it to the guide, which is this one here. All right, and then explode. So this one is not explode yet in the bottom. So X for explode. Oops. X for explode command, explode these arrayed objects and this one here. Now these are individual objects, and I think I'm Just want to make sure. All right, so subtract command again. So subtract command is inside the solid editing panel. Select the object you want to keep, right click, and select the objects that you want to use to subtract. In this case, the extruded stars. This selection cycling is bothering me. All right, there you go. So you can go down to the status bar and turn it off over here. Okay, subtract command again. Select the object you want to keep, right click, and select the stars. Extruded stars, rather. There you go. I think we're done. All I have to do now is apply materials. I'm just gonna close this one. Maximize this window. And then change this to realistic. And apply materials. So type in materials. And I'm gonna use ceramics. So if it's not showing here, you can click this drop down arrow by the Autodesk library and select ceramics. And I'm gonna use this mosaic blue. Just drag that directly. All right, I'm just gonna turn this off and go to visualize. And inside, or this drop down arrow inside this ribbon or panel, just drag the exposure setting to make it clearer. And I think we are done. So I'm just gonna move this one. Move. And then delete the construction lines. So thanks for watching. Make sure to click the like button if you like what I did, or share. I will appreciate that. And see you again.